Hello again, and my name is Sarah and welcome to my kitchen. Today I wanted to show you one of my favourite recipes. It's a really quick and easy way to cook a Thai red curry. So before we start, I'm just going to point out to you what we're going to need. You're going to need a frying pan like this one here. The bigger the better really, because it might hold quite a bit of liquid. And then a large pot of boiling water. And I'm actually going to, this is for the rice, because it's I'm just cooking for myself and my flatmate. So we're going to use the boil in the bag basmati. It takes 12 minutes. So I'm going to put these in now at the start, as you can see. So it's one portion per bag. They're really reasonable and cheap to get. Just shove those under the water, put the lid on, and I think we just turn it onto a simmer. Yeah, that's for 12 minutes. Okay, so what you need for this Thai red curry, I'm going to be using vegetables and prawn, but you can use vegetables and meat. It doesn't matter what meat it is. Obviously better if you have something like chicken or light meat. I'm going to use prawns, but you could just leave the meat out altogether and just have a vegetarian curry. It's equally delicious. So the things you're going to need to buy for this, the ingredients. The first thing is, this is the most important ingredient. This is a red curry paste. Now you can make your own red curry paste, and there are recipes for that. But actually, I found that these big pots, and if I don't know if you see this one, I bought it's just from the supermarket, but it's not one of the brands, the supermarket brands. This is like an Asian brand, so you get it in the sort of Asian aisle, or other foods from other countries aisle, and this is really good because it's got all the it's absolutely as they would have made it authentically. They've made it in Thailand. You get a lot. I don't know if you can see here, but this is a huge bag, and I've already made one curry out of that. So you can see you probably get like 4 curries out of it. So you keep it in the fridge in a pot, and it will keep for up to a month. So it's really good value if you particularly like me, you love a Thai curry. And you can get a green one as well. There are lots of different brands. So that's the first thing we need. We need some oil to cook with, and I'm using coconut oil because we're going to also be using coconut milk. That's what gives that lovely creamy texture. And then in terms of the vegetables, you can use whatever you like really. So whatever you have in the house. I like to use a colourful range, eat the rainbow. So I've got some red onion, I've got some red pepper and some carrot, and then I've got some broccoli, baby corn, and some sweet peas. And I don't know if you see, but I've actually halved and quartered these, which will make them go a long way, because obviously at the moment we're trying to ration our veggies. And then the final thing I've got, which is over here, is some pak choy, and again I've quartered them and to make them smaller, easier to cook, quicker to cook. So that's all the ingredients, and then the prawns, which are just sitting on the freezer. I'll put them in when they're just like, I've just used, these ones are pre-cooked prawns, but you can use the uncooked ones as well. Obviously you need to allow them time to cook, but you'll see in a minute it's a very quick process, which is why I prepare everything in advance. So that's boiling away nicely there. In fact, perhaps a bit too much. Let me just turn that down a bit. So that's got on. So what we're going to do, we're going to start by heating up the pan. And obviously I will put links, the recipe on my page as well after this, and I'll put some other videos so you can see, and there are plenty of tips and what to do. So if you can see, I'm just going to put in probably half a dessert spoon of oil. We don't need an awful lot of oil at this stage, although maybe just put a little bit more than that in actually. Yeah, there we go. That just didn't look like quite enough. You want enough to just coat the bottom of the saucepan. Now you can use light vegetable oil for this as well. I wouldn't recommend cooking with vegetable oils at all. So either a light olive oil that's suitable for cooking, or this coconut oil. So we're going to heat this up like this, and we're going to get this nice and hot. So we're going to turn that up. There we go. And you don't need to put anything like garlic in here, because there's garlic oil in this, just so you know, in this red curry paste. You've got garlic, red chilli, dried red chilli, lemongrass, shallot, salt, galangal, shrimp paste, kaffir lime peel and pepper. So that's a good mix in there already. Obviously, myself and my flatmate, we both eat fish, But obviously if you're cooking for a vegetarian or a vegan, then you would need to look at sourcing a different type of curry paste, and there are ones out there that you can get. So you can just Google those online. I'll try and find the link for it as well. Right, so that is now hot. It might be a bit noisy now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the curry paste in. Now, if you're sensitive to chilli, I'd normally have the fan on, but obviously that would be a bit too noisy. If you're sensitive to chilli, I would suggest you make sure you've got the fan on the window. I've got the window open today, and I think that's probably going to be enough. That's more than enough, I think. That's what we need. So I don't know if you can see here. I probably put in about two dessert spoons, and you see it's quite gloopy. So you need to kind of cook it off, basically. So you're cooking off all the ingredients, the spicing, the herbs and everything in here, all the goodness. And I might need to add a little bit more cooking oil in a minute, but at the moment, you're just warming it through, okay? But you can see it's absorbed all the oil. So we're just going to cook it off. I mean, it's a good reason to use a non-stick pan, so it's not going to burn. But just keep moving it around the pan. And what I'm actually going to do at that stage, I'm actually going to put in these vegetables. These are the harder vegetables I'm going to do first, because they need a bit more cooking time. Okay, let me put that down there. Now, if you were using a raw meat, oh, that chili's catching in my throat. If you were using a raw meat at this stage, I would suggest putting that in now, like a beef or a chicken, to give it time with the chili paste to cook through properly. But because I'm using, I've already cooked prawns, I don't want to overcook them because they'll be too rubbery. So I'm just going to pop them in at the end to warm through. Excuse me, that is quite, you can taste the chili's getting in the back of my throat quite a lot. So I'm starting to cook that off. I'm actually going to put a little bit more. What I'll do at this stage, I think, is open up the coconut milk. Okay. And these ones, the good ones, always have a hard top on them. I don't know if you can see that. It's literally, that's the sort of the pulp. And then you break through into the liquid. So be careful when you're doing that you don't do what I sometimes do, is absolutely forget and press through, and it shoots up and squirts all over my sweater or whatever I'm wearing. So I'm just being very gentle with that at the moment, trying to stir it around a bit. But I'm going to add a bit there. I'm going to add in about, that's it, almost half, just a bit of liquid. Excuse me. Ooh, might need my goggles for this. And you see that just gives it a little bit more liquid, allows it to cook off a little bit. Something starting to look a bit more like you'd expect a curry. And already you can see like the onions and the peppers are starting to sort of go a bit bendy. I'm going to put a bit more in there. There we go. So that's, yeah, that's about half, I think. Wow. There we go. Right, so we cook that off for a minute or two. And the good thing to know as well is actually, in all of these pots, they kind of give you some instructions on the side. So feel free to look at the side if you want to. So this said add some coconut milk, cook. Then it says cook. Then it says add the meat and continue cooking. But because obviously I'm not adding the meat at this stage, and then you can add the rest of the vegetables. It says like that. So the vegetables. I mean, this is nearly done already, and just checking my rice is going to be a few more minutes, so that's all right. So now these ones will cook, and again, I want to put this in here, so make sure I get all the goodness out of this can. So, I don't even see, it's quite gloopy. I think that's all of it out. There we go. A long-handed spoon is very good for this sort of thing. Great. Okay. So, there we go. And I'm actually going to add a little bit of water at this stage as well, just to make it a bit runnier. That's what it recommends. And now all we're doing is cooking through the vegetables. There we go. So we're nearly there, in actual fact. There's not much more to do. Obviously I've still got my pak choy to put in and my prawns. So all we do now is let that simmer for a few minutes and let the flavours develop, let the vegetables cook, and the final thing will be is, so you can put more water in if you want to. Taste. Once you've had a chance to let these sort of simmer a little bit, I'm going to put a bit more water in there. Just instinctually, it shouldn't be too much, just to make sure it's a good consistency, but you still want it to be fairly thick. There's nothing worse than a watery curry. So then I'll put in the pak choy and I'll put in the prawns. And then the last thing to put in is some fresh coriander right at the end when you finish cooking, because that gives it some amazing flavour. The only thing I would say now is probably just to taste it. When you've got to that point, let me just put up. So if I just try that now, because in Asian cooking, or Thai cooking particularly, it should be hot and sour, which it definitely is, and sweet and salt. Now we knew there was salt in there, it was quite salty. Double dip there. But I don't think that's particularly sweet. So actually what I'm going to do is add a little bit of sugar to this. But it's all to your personal taste. If you go out to Thai restaurants regularly, you'll know what you like your flavour of your curry to be like. So I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to actually add a little bit of sugar in here. And you can use just normal granulated sugar. You can use palm sugar. You can use honey. It doesn't really matter. But let's just stir that in a bit and give it that nice authentic taste. And that is basically, let me put the prawns in, and then that's pretty much your curry done. So this is pretty much a vegetable curry done. I'm going to put the pak choy in now. There we go, like so. And that's quite big. It's why you see I cut them into quarters, because I've got a fairly small saucepan, and they otherwise they don't fit in very well, and they don't cook very well, but they don't need very long at all. And then we've got the prawns, which I'm going to add now, right at the end. There we go. And that, let that cook for a few more minutes and it's done. Sprinkle the coriander on, get your rice out, and it's ready to serve. Okay, good luck with it. Hope you enjoy it. Remember, no, it's never too much chilli.